speaking of buy coverage, should we talk about how things have changed for me since I went from the PD to the SI?
I would love it. And may I ask, let me do an interrogative, and you could be the talker in this one. As everybody knows, Grant made a name for himself by covering the 49ers for many, many years for the Santa Rosa Press Democrat, where I worked as well. Around 3 months ago, Sports Illustrated came to Grant and said that they had scouted him out, and they recruited him and hired him away from the Press Democrat. Now he has the same exact beat, but he covers it for Sports Illustrated. So Iggy, my question to you is, how is it different covering the Niners for Sports Illustrated from the PD?
That's a great question. I try to do everything the same. Like when training camp starts, I'm still going to do my daily reports, the good and the bad, do my Periscope reports. But I've noticed now that people come to me. I was working very hard in the past in Santa Rosa, but it seemed like, and certain people know who I was, but nationally, it was different. I was a guy who wrote for a newspaper in Santa Rosa, and maybe a lot of people don't even know where that is.
Right.
But now, I'll tell you, like, Dad, you'll never guess who wrote to me privately on Twitter today. And it happens every week, all because I have Sports Illustrated attached to my name, which is so funny because everyone knows that name. It's famous. It's a brand.
And I think you're getting even more respect from the team and from players.
Absolutely. Because they know that I've advanced in my career, that I have a big company backing me, and that I know things. And that's the thing. I didn't always know things when I was younger. I mean, I knew people who used to be in the league or who were in the league who could explain the game to me, but weren't necessarily telling me what's happening with breaking stories. I mean, for example, with this Raheem Mostert story that was going on for a few weeks, he requested a trade, that he got his raise. I was up to date with that every step of the way. Every step of the way. And I've never been like that before. I've never been someone who broke news. I was always trying to be an opinion person like you. But now just the fact that I'm at Sports Illustrated, it's like I can't help it. People are trying to help me break news.
Yeah, it's because you have a lot more clout now, and because in a sense you're a national writer.
In a sense, I am.
A national group. And so all of a sudden, a lot of people know who you are. And even when you contact like agents now and things like that, they know who you are.
Right. Before I would say, hi, this is Grant Cohn from the Santa Rosa Press Democrat. You may not have heard of where Santa Rosa is, but it's about 90 miles north of San Francisco. It's right there in the Bay Area. It used to be owned by the New York Times. It's a good, you'd have to build it up and people be like, look, dude, like, let me know when you get the next job. And in 5 years, when you advance in your career, then I'll hit you up. But now it's like Grant Cohn, Sports Illustrated. They're like, oh, yeah. And not only that, it's like they've read me a lot before. It's like my articles are getting pushed to the top of Google. So like, oh, yeah, I know you. You're Grant Cohn with Sports Illustrated, which is nice.
So, Iggy, it helps you do your job, and it helps you do a better job.
No question. Absolutely. Because now I guess less. I know more. And so a lot of times when I say I'm guessing, it's from a position of knowledge because people are saying, look, this is what's going on. You can't say that. You can't quote me. I don't even want you to say a source said it, but this is the deal. Say it's your opinion. So now I can speak. I can be an opinion writer who actually knows what he's talking about, which is nice.
When I used to get that, when someone would say to me, like the general manager or a player or an agent, say, you can't even say, you talk to me, this is for background only, but you knew the deal. And then I'd write a column, say, this is what I think, but this is what's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. And people would say, what do you know? And I would think, actually, I know the whole thing. And it used to make me giggle,
Yeah. You're just guessing. Yeah, right. Right. And when I'm 100% right, what are you going to say?
Yeah, right.
Another thing about SI I want to say real quick that's really different from the PD. I didn't even realize that I was lacking this at the PD. I love the PD. And
I loved it as well.
I loved it for 10 years, and I had great editors who were always working step by step with me. At SI, there's a whole network. It's not just one editor. There's a bunch of bosses, a bunch of editors, and a bunch of other writers and publishers, and we all collaborate. It's like the difference between studying at a corner bookstore and studying at the UCLA library. It's just the ultimate resource, and it really does feel like I'm working at a big time national place.
I'd like to talk about, you use the word we can collaborate. I'd like to go into that because I don't think the viewers know what you mean.
Right. Good point.
May I say it?
Go for it.
Okay. This is what it means when you collaborate with other journalists. Let's say this year, if everything works out, the Niners will play Seattle twice. Well, SI has someone covering every team, all 32 teams of the NFL. And Grant is beginning to know these people. Mm-hmm. So before the week before they play Seattle, the first game, I would think if it were me, I'm sorry?
Well, yeah, you're sure. Keep going. The first time they play Seattle.
I'm talking now.
Sorry.
Okay.
I thought you meant week one. See, keep going.
I didn't say, I said
I'm sorry.
All right. Arizona, who cares?
Doesn't matter.
Arizona, Seattle. There's a person who covers that team for SI. I don't know even who they are. But a week before the game, that person and Grant, if they're doing their jobs correctly, get on the phone. The guy.
No, not just that. We get on this on StreamYard, and we have a whole broadcast. I can interview him for everyone to see.
Okay, but you can also do it. Oh, I see what you're saying. But Iggy, no, you also want off the record stuff.
Oh, sure, of course.
You got to be. I want to explain how journalism works.
Sure.
You can do a thing for everybody to see, but you're also wanting your own stuff and write your own articles. And he's going to tell you, he or she, I don't know who it is. This person will tell you stuff off the record. You can't use my name, but this guy is really doesn't get along with the quarterback, and stuff like that. And you could say sources say, or not sources, a source says, and that's your person up in Seattle. So the collaborating means you help this person before the game, that person helps you, and it enriches your coverage. And you have that for the 31 other teams that SI is covering, and the 31 other teams, the person who covers has you.
And not just that. And not just that. They have college network. They have college sites too. And tomorrow I'm going to be doing one of these with the lady who does the Arizona State site, because the Niners drafted an Arizona State wide receiver in the first round, and she's going to tell me all about him.
Wonderful. Yeah. And again, at the PD, we weren't in a network like that. Now, I'm an older guy, and I knew writers, in Green Bay for sure, and I knew writers in other markets, and we would talk to each other, but nothing as specialized as that. And I would say, yes, it's like being in the UCLA library. It's having everything at your command. What a position to be in, Grant.
Also, there are daily video conferences, Monday through Thursday. I wake up, and on Monday, I'll have a conference with all the other writers who have NFL sites, and we will say what we're working on that day. So we can share ideas and say, look, this is working for me. This will probably work for other sites too. That's really helpful. And then on Tuesdays, we have one of the high performers at SI explaining what he does that works for him. I mean, it's very collaborative. And the whole idea is for everyone to succeed and be on a team. And in the past, I kind of felt like like Han Solo out there. So it's nice to be on a team.
You currently have a dream job.
Yes, I do.
And I want to tell, I've never told anybody this. In late February, early March, my wife, Iggy's mom, and I, we drove to Palm Springs. We usually do it for about a week or so, 10 days. And my blood pressure was through the roof. It was over 200 at the top number. And we were really worried. So I came back, and the doctor was worried and put me on all medications. And it came down a little, but it was still really, really dangerously high. Well, one day Iggy calls me and he says, "Hey, Dad, I got to tell you, I just got hired at Sports Illustrated. I'm going to, tell the PD I'm leaving. I got this job." And we were so happy. Well, later that day, I have this little machine at home where I'm supposed to take my blood pressure. It was perfectly normal. In like 2 hours, it went from like I'm on my deathbed to it was like in the 120s. And I realized I was so worried about what was happening with my son, what his future was going to be. So what I want to say is, don't you screw up, because I don't want to mess up my blood pressure.
It's a lot riding on this job right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, next time I write something real controversial, I'll send it by you first. So if I get in trouble, it's your fault, because you've never steered me wrong in the past.
Okay, thank you. And so what we're saying is you got to help me keep my blood pressure down.
That's true. If it creeps back up above 140, it's my fault because it's vicarious stress from me to you. But I want you to know, I'm not stressed at all. This is probably the worst year of everyone's life, but it just happens to be the best year of my life, and I feel a little guilty, but not too guilty. So I'm saying it. I'm having the best time. You don't have to stress for me anymore. I appreciate that you stressed for me in the past because I really don't stress at all.
Okay, well, I'll find something else to stress about then.
I'll let you know what you can stress about.
Okay.
All right, Dad. This is one of our best.
I love doing this with you, Grant.
All right, Father. Talk to you soon.
See ya.